A common picture in Dushanbe, capital of Tadschikistan. Police officers pulling cars off the road and, at least in the past, often pulling money out of people's pockets too. Tadshikistan's police has never been well perceived by their citizens. Corrupt, incapable and without respect for people's rights. But now the country takes off for a complete change.
In Germany I saw that they have video control on the roads. We want to install that here too. This is very useful not only to fight against traffic violations, it will also help to reduce the level of corruption and improve the contact between police and people in the streets.
This video control project is part of a broader plan to reform the police in Tadschikistan. The ambitious goal: to catch up with advanced police systems in democratic and more developed countries. For Haidar Mahmadiev, international support is key to achieve the reform.
With the help of the OSCE office in Tajikistan, we also prepared and issued a comprehensive order and legislation framework to provide people with their rights and their freedom. Any abuse by the police will be punished. Every 3 months, the compliance with the legislation is checked.
32-year-old Shurat Ulmasov belongs to the young generation of police officers in Tadschikistan. He is the leader of the K9 department, the dog unit that was founded just 1.5 years ago with support of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe.
OSCE is helping us a lot in establishing and developing this kind of activity. The building in which we are sitting here, and also all of the small cages for the dogs, are built with the support of the OSCE.
One of the main tasks of the K9 department is to fight against the country's drug problem. Ulmasov is proud of his dogs and their performance. To him, the new unit represents a promising start into modern police work and forms part of the planned police reform. It is very much welcomed by Ulmasov and his colleagues.
First of all, we as young police people, we think there should be security for citizens and population. The life of people is the most important thing in the world, and we have to take care of it. The police needs to respect and obey the laws. While fulfilling his duty and revealing crimes, every officer should be honest. The main factor here is that people trust the police. A police officer should be able to open the minds and hearts of the people, and they should feel protected by him.
Together with about 30 other leading police officers, Ulmasov now took part in a training conducted by OSCE to prepare the police reform. To assess the training needs was the main issue of the workshop. Its interactive style was new and exciting for many participants.
Put this under legislation.
The German police officers Friedrich Schwind and Peter Rutschkowski acted as trainers in the 2 weeks workshop. They already conducted similar capacity building trainings for the police in countries like Georgia, Kosovo or Guatemala. From their experience, the trainers know cooperation is key for any reform effort. One of their training sessions was dedicated to that. A group of people had to lay down a stick on the floor. The entertaining exercise showed joint efforts are never an easy task. Another objective was to learn how to use strategic thinking and planning tools.
The key message is the most important thing within a statement.
Still, whatever good you do, you need to talk about it. A true police reform is not possible without informing the public and building up trust. A public relation module conducted by communication expert Monika Högen also forms part of the OSCE police reform training in Tadschikistan. This is a new element in international police capacity building. The effort is a success. The police officers showed an enormous interest in all of the training objectives.
Participants are clearly interested in orienting themselves alongside best practice examples that they got from other successful police systems elsewhere. No doubt, Tadschikistan is keen to catch up with the rest of the world.
Outside the classroom, daily police work goes on. OMON is Tadschikistan's anti-terrorism unit, very often fulfilling its difficult duty alongside the precarious border with Afghanistan. Head of OMON, Kursahed Makatshoev, is sure that the police reform will also be very effective for the work of his team.
The reforms that we are currently implementing are all supported by international institutions. That means we are benefiting from the best practices in the world. As we can see, even many advanced countries undertook such reforms of their police. The reform is also very useful for the special purpose of the Oman unit. Terrorist groups sometimes are more advanced in terms of training and preparation. They're almost one step ahead of us. This is why we have to keep up with the progress in the world, considering the changes in the actions undertaken by terrorists.
International experts in the OSCE headquarters in Dushanbe are also convinced that the reform is much more about providing Tajikistan's police with advanced approaches, strategies and tactics than about offering financial support.
I have to underline that the OSCE is a political organization, and in this respect we are not giving large donations, for instance, to equipment, which is so much needed. I refer to that. But the OSCE puts an emphasis on capacity building, education of police.
This also implies an enhanced dialogue with the people of Tajikistan, not only in the capital but also in the more remote areas. New regional police stations have been set up. Regularly meetings between police officers and village people take place. Community policing, as experts call this approach. It also happens in the village of Chorbok in Vasop district, about 1 hour drive from Dushanbe. Human rights, the problem of drugs and street children, domestic violence and how better to prevent crimes, these are the topics the people from the village want to talk about. Here lives Salima, 47 years old and teacher in the village. She's very happy with the new face the police is showing to her and the other people in Chorbok.
We can observe a lot of improvement in the behavior of these local inspectors. Mainly, they are very polite and also they are treating people well and with good manners. And while observing the local inspectors, the school children are also trying not to do something wrong.
But police officers have to be convinced to work in the provinces. In offices less equipped, with lower salaries and under more precarious conditions.
On behalf of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, we are taking some measures to motivate young inspectors to work in the more remote regions. This is very important to us. In accordance with the local governments, we are trying to locate some land for them, so that they can build their houses and also plant agricultural products.
Colonel Olimov Kurban Hakimovic also took part in the OSCE trainings in order to develop more comprehensive ideas for future community policing. Oliver Janser, counterterrorism and police advisor at the OSCE, is happy with the engagement shown by his high-ranking counterparts in Tajikistan.
Everybody is very much interested in to participate. All the participants in the trainings, and this is, it goes from community policing through strategic planning. It is just excellent, the participation and how they really try to absorb the knowledge and put it into practice. I'm quite convinced that there is a strong political will with all the cooperation what we do so far.
In future, this political will for change shall also be seen by the people at first glance. Police officers around the country get a new outfit.
The uniforms are quite old and from the former time. And in order to represent a new police, we also thought it would be good to present them in a new uniform. It's a lot of reforms all over the world looked in psychological issues, how to present, and we also wanted to design a uniform, or we will have to design a uniform which is also practical and which will be comfortable and can be used on a daily basis, also in operations. So there are a lot of aspects, but I think to present again, like to present a new police, it's good to present them in a new uniform.
A completely different but equally important aspect of the reform is gender. It means to support female police and encourage more women to become police officers, like investigation officer Saudat Turaeva.
First of all, we women, we are mothers and sisters, and we are very kind and generous from our heart. Even in case of crime, we are treating the convict like mothers and sisters. We put ourselves in the place of that crime person and we are treating him or her in a human way. I want to stress that the quantity of women in the police offices should be increased.
Whether it's women or men, the majority of police officers supports the reform, for the benefit of the people and for their own sake. Because in Tadschikistan, like everywhere else in the world, police forms part of the society and depends on mutual understanding.